to A Well-Designed Business. My name is Luann Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today we're going to whisk you off to the Virgin Islands. Well, not really. My guest today, though, is from the Virgin Islands. That's right. Tiffany Cassidy is with us, and she has been designing beautiful homes and commercial spaces in the U.S. Virgin Islands for her long list of clients since 2002. She is the co-founder and principal designer of Lagnappe Custom Interiors. And a little fun fact, Lagnappe is a Louisiana Creole word for the niceties in life. Pretty cool, right? Tiffany wasn't always designing beautiful luxury vacation homes, though. She had to, drum roll please, that's right, she had to niche down her business, just like many of you have, and like many of you have been afraid to, right? We've heard so many guests on the podcast talk about the fear around niching down. But we've also had many guests on the podcast share with us that niching down was the best decision they ever made for their business. Okay. Spoiler alert, you're probably going to learn it was a good decision for Tiffany as well, right? Now, a huge thing that Tiffany credits to helping her do this was when she invested in herself by working with business coach Tobi Fairley. Tobi's been on the show a couple of times. We will put the show notes, the episodes in the show notes for you. Tobi encouraged Tiffany to niche, and she helped her find her superpower by asking her the questions. What do you do? How do you do it? Who do you do it for? Right? Now, let's listen to Tiffany tell us the rest of this exploration and how it ended up for her. Hey, Tiffany, thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Well, thanks for having me, Luann. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm looking forward to the conversation. I'm going to tell you why. Because I feel like we can't get enough of the conversation about niching your business. And you are you actually you're from the Virgin Islands, are you? No, right?
No, originally from California, but
Okay.
I've lived in St. Thomas for 20 years now.
Okay, because I noticed you're saying niching, and I'm saying niching, so we're going to just have to get through that for the next hour. But anyway.
Tomato, tomato.
Exactly, right. But the thing about it is what I have learned is while we've had probably a dozen conversations on the decision to niche your business down to a narrow focus, every person to a one has discussed the difficulty in it, whether the difficulty was mental, emotional, actual marketing, whatever it is, there's always been a unique experience and a unique perspective on the difficulty of coming to the decision. But I would say 2-1, every single person that has been on the show and discussed it has also said on the other side of it, best decision they ever made. And so you're going to give us your perspective on making a decision to niche your design firm down. So talk to us a little bit about, the germ of it. When did it start? How did it happen? What were you thinking?
Okay. So it started when I got into a business coaching program, and the coach there really recommends choosing a niche. That's like part of her program. And it was challenging for me. even though I've basically had one for years, it took me months to really of like journaling and going through all this questionnaires and stuff to figure that out. And then it was just really like a journey to embrace that. I was like, oh well, this is what I do, but it's not what I really want to be doing. Like there are all these other shiny things I want to be doing, you know, but really I needed to embrace what I was doing already and doing well and lean in.
So, what I'm hearing is, first of all, good on your business coach, because this is what we've talked about again from the beginning. Nancy Gans-Calfer came in here, in the first month and a half of the business. Niche is rich and broad is broke. And Fred Burns followed, right after on the heels with Find Your Only. Kay Whitaker came in months later, and it was like talking about what's your brand. Basically, the advice that you were getting from your business coach was to figure out your superpower. What do you do? How do you do it? Who do you do it for? Am I right?
Exactly. What is it that you do and that you really do well? And how do you do it, obviously? So that became my sort of value ladder of services out of that. And who do you do it for is, the whole ideal client avatar thing. And I have to admit, I didn't really ever excel at that. But I do spend time on a regular basis, kind of just journaling about if I were this person, what would I be frustrated by? What would I be looking for? What would I need? Like, what am I hoping for out of this project? And that's really informative. And I think you have to have a defined niche to be able to do that.
Well, I love that. Okay, so what you do is you not only spend time journaling about your own individual vision for yourself and your company, but you spend time journaling, imagining your niche client. Like if you were to niche all here, I'm going to say it both ways now. This is going to be fun. Your niche client, you spend time putting yourself in their place. And look, this is not new information, right? But the actual spending time acting as if you were in their thoughts and writing as you were them. What bothers me? What triggers me on a design project that, what do I need in my home, my house, whatever. And you really spend time trying to tap into their obstacles and, of course, their outcomes that they want, I would imagine as well, right?
Well, absolutely. Just sit down and be like, so I'm a person who just bought a home in the Virgin Islands. I don't live in the Virgin Islands. I like to vacation there. And I'm going to rent this place out for, 40 weeks a year and use it for the other, 12 weeks a year for myself and enjoy it. What do I want out of that? I'm trying to get it to pay for itself. And I want it to be nice, but also durable. I want to leave my things there, but leave room for my guests, like all of the things, right? So that's just like scratching the surface. And what frustrates them, and then after you do that, you can really go through and look at what is the value of design for these people. What can I provide that's truly helpful, that's going to solve their problem? And how can I do it at more than one level, right? So I'm trying to do it both at the full service level and at a level with scalable product that's very affordable for those who aren't going to be full service clients.
I love this. I really do. Because what you just tapped into by describing in words, I am a person who just bought a home in the Virgin Islands. I expect to be here 12 weeks of the year. I expect to rent 40 weeks of the year. What do I need from this? You see, because I have a house at the Jersey Shore that the Vincenz and I go to for what's 7 minus 52, whatever that is, 45 weeks of the year. Okay. And we rent it for about 7 weeks of the year. And you know what you just bullseyed me is it's one thing if I come to your website and I want you to design and decorate my home that has this criteria. I'm expecting to see and hear the buzzwords of, durable furniture, blah, 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 multiple beds in rooms, accommodate, guests. But you know what I just heard when you said, what do I want out of this? You know what I heard? Where does my stuff go when they come in? Right? I live 2 hours from my vacation house. I can take my valuables home. We have personally, what we have is 2 garages, and it's one big garage, but we literally sheetrocked a wall in between the huge 3-car garage so that when the renters come in, I spend 3 days taking all of my stuff, put it in the bins, and putting it behind a locked door. But if I'm in the Virgin Islands, if I can't come in and out with my clothes, I can't come in and out with my valuables, maybe it's not as easy. If you're a designer that is talking to me about that kind of deep level need that I have, and you're going to design for that, oh, yeah, I'm calling you, right?
Yes,
that's so powerful.
Yeah. So the more, so that's the value of a niche is where you just sit there and focus on that person and all of their things. And so I went through this process of fighting it, basically with the business coach. No, I want to do, high-end private luxury, this and that, 18,000 square feet homes and blah, blah, blah. I want all the fancy, shiny things to do and to work on because, we're designers. We like all the fancy, shiny things. But the reality of it is, and the reality for the fact that I live in a vacation-oriented area, like tourism is the product here. That's it, basically. And is that's not super practical. And what I've actually been doing for years and years and years in a number of different capacities is working with people who short-term rent their homes when they are not here. They're part-time residents, right? And so it took me a while to really wrap my head around the fact that that's already what we do. We've already got relationships with all the vendors and the products kind of dialed in for that. And so let's just lean into that and really start communicating it to people like yourself.
It's so good.
And then they will come to you.
Right. They will, because I'm like, I don't know. It's crazy when little things like this really grab me between grab me by the shoulders. I just have to go and say it again. It's that. When you just did that, I know you spent time in the head of somebody that takes a house that they love, that they care about, that was not inexpensive, right? That they are going to rent. And what is that transition like? Because that is my thing every single year. It's like, okay, how do I get myself out of this house and not be a hassle? And so even if you were as a designer coming in and maybe a person was attracted to you because of your ability to design for what's the word I want? Durability and all of the things. When you have that console call and you start to talk to me about things that I didn't even know, what if I've never rented a house before? And you say, well, how will you handle your personal belongings when you go back to the States or Europe? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, how will I handle that? Right? So I love it. Now, but the thing is, moving back to the crux of the problem, which was, resisting this, right? You resisted it. You've said it a couple of times. It took many weeks and months of journaling. It took a lot of weeks and months of nudging from your coach, which, by the way, let's give a shout out. Tobi Fairley, right? You told me off air that you coach with Tobi Fairley.
Yes.
Love Tobi. And so what was the resistance, Tiffany? Was the resistance, you mentioned the desire to do the larger luxury full scale projects? Was the resistance thinking just that I'm going to miss that opportunity? Or was the resistance not realizing there was enough business in this opportunity? Like, where was that nudge for you?
Well, besides just being a creative person who likes shiny things, I thought I was keeping my options open. You gotta, this theory of gotta cast a wide net in order to, get enough clients to keep you moving every year. And that's not really true. And I think we all know that, but it felt scary to limit. And what it took me a while to come around to realizing is, and it's so funny, like the more I put out about we do like luxury vacation rental, that is what we do. The more I put out about that, the more people will look at your work and go, well, we don't rent our house, but I like that. So can you work with us too? Well, of course, sure. But so it didn't turn out to be as limiting as I was afraid it was going to. And then the other thing is, once you lean into that, you think of all of the things that go with it, right? So what else can I create to help these people? And the answer is like, it's infinite.
Mm-hmm. Right? Because now you could say to me, oh, Luann, do you want me to outfit the entire house with one set of sheets for you and one for your renters? Do you want towels for people? Do you want, and I'm going, yes, 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 right? Like, get me ready. I don't want to have to do it. It drives me crazy to get it ready.
Yes. And so let me tell you what we did, because you said sheets and towels. What we did this past year, right as high season started, is we added our first ever shopping page to our website. So you can go online on our website, we only have just the white Villa grade sheets, towels, mattress pads, sleeping pillows, like all of the bedding basics, none of the colored stuff, just
Right.
the basics, the things people need on repeat, right? Every year you need more of the same towels again. So now you can check our stock, pay online, and put in a time for local pickup. You can have your property manager pick up what you bought while you're sitting in your home in Ohio.
I love it. I love it. So good.
And it'll match last year.
Right.
Yeah. So that's like one more little way we can think of how can we serve these people, because we get them all set up to start with. And then they can't find more matching pillowcases again, because apparently people will use your pillowcases as beach bags and leave them behind,
and
or
they take them
something.
home and they ruin them. They do all the things.
Yeah.
And whatever, might be accidents, might not be. Who knows? So, and what about
Right.
other layers of the services have you gone into? Like, you've got me thinking of the things that I wish I had and the things I do appreciate that we do have. So, for example, I've gotten the phone call, Vincenz gets a phone call, not me. 2:00 Monday afternoon. Oh, the toaster oven isn't working. Really? That's awesome. But we have a realtor who takes care of us. And she's like, should I send one of my assistants out to Target to get a toaster oven and put it in the house and just deduct it from the rent? Yes, you should. Thank you. I don't want to drive 4 hours round trip to give you a toaster. So have you gone into that level of concierge level services, or is that actually handled by the realtors and things like that?
So I've thought about that off and on for years, and I haven't gone there yet. At the moment, we have a handful of property managers that we love to work with and we refer to. But when it comes to things like the rug got ruined, or
Yes.
somebody broke the lamp in this bedroom, that's all us. And
Yes.
when you refer the property manager, they just kind of know that, please don't go to Kmart and buy 2 random lamps that they happen to have today. Call me. I'll get you the lamps.
Well, I remember Jessica Deuce's episode on the podcast because she also she specializes in Verbo, things similar, right? Rental homes and so forth. And I remember her talking about the detailed, let's call it a project binder. I don't remember what she called it, but it was like a page by page. It was, here are the lamps in the living room. This is what they're called. This is the SKU number. Here's the rug in the living room. And not only did she use it for, I remember, you'll tell me if you're doing similar, like the cleaning crew. You know, like we came into our house last summer after we were there, and somebody decided that the side rocking chair, like a upholstered rocking chair that belonged in the second master bedroom, well, they liked it better in the other master bedroom. Oh, thanks for that, but it doesn't go there, right? And so she has pictures of every room so that different cleaning companies can make sure everything looks the same each week, the way it's supposed to, and the replacement items are easy to identify. Is that part of what your company does as you've niched into this, or is it different, Tiffany?
Well, we do it a little bit different. So we do make a project binder for the project altogether that shows which rooms go together how with what items, right? And I've definitely done housekeeper books that show how you're supposed to stack the pillows on each bed, because sometimes the housekeepers decide it will be fun to mix the pillows from bedroom 3 and bedroom 2 and it's like swirl them all around. And
It's
I'm like,
crazy.
stop, not my pillows. You know,
It's just like, it was fine the way it was.
I see you're adding variety to your day. Please don't. That's not very nice, but sorry, I have a thing with the pillows, clearly. But yeah, so we do a project binder so you know where things are supposed to go. I have chosen not to give out all of the, here's the SKU, the colorway, everything, because I do actually want them to come back to me for replacements when needed.
And I don't really actually recall, I'd have to listen to the episode again, if she gave it away or she just maintained it. I don't have a recall of how Jessica did it. I just remember thinking, if the call comes that the lamp in the second bedroom was broken, she knows how to replace it without, like, I have to go visit that property that's 5 states away, and what does that room look like? Right? Or like you said, that they're just going to pick up anything at Home Goods that doesn't match or does match, right? So yeah, but the idea of just having internally at least all your SKUs and everything, so that when you get the call, you can easily make moves, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, we organize with Studio Webware. I know you guys do a lot with My Dome. It's similar. You can look up the client, look up the bedroom, and there's the whole item list, the purchase order, and the vendor invoice is saved in Dropbox with the purchase order number on it. And that's really easy for our office manager or purchasing agent to just get another one at the same.
Smart. Love it. So now it takes you a couple of months. You finally, eureka moment. Oh my goodness, my coach that I've been paying all this money is absolutely right. Yay. And this is my niche and these are my people. And then you start to change your marketing.
Imagine that.
Right? Crazy. Right. Brilliant lady.
Yes.
Decades of experience, right? She is. So the thing is, now you start to change your messaging and your marketing, and you start to lean in to this niche. And was there anything else or any other aha moments along the way when once you arrived and you're like, this is what I'm going to do?
So creating our value ladder, I think, was basically the next step there. And, because you can only do so many full service projects a year, and that's just a fact, and do them well anyway. So the next question is, like, how can you serve more people at different levels, and thereby, increase your business's revenue? So we came up with, different services that you can buy, and some of them are just consulting only. And I love doing those days. So, now we have Designer for a Day. And if you want me to come to your house and, you can pick my brain all day long and, that's something that you can just book and pay for online. We do 2-hour strategy sessions. And sometimes people who are considering buying properties but don't really know what they should be thinking about can really benefit from those. And then we also offer, we call master plan, where we'll make your whole design plan binder and give you a spreadsheet of where you can buy everything you need to finish your house. And then you get to implement it, because the implementation really is the thing that takes all the manpower, right?
Mm-hmm. And then, but then you do have that final level of service where you do the master plan and implement it.
Yes, the full service is the very highest level of service. It's the top of the price range. And it takes us the most time. And of course, it is the most expensive. So not everybody fits into that. And realizing that the desire for return on investment makes so many of these homeowners want to be DIYers, that, and there is some sort of romantic appeal. I don't know. To me, it sounds like a whole heck of a lot of work, but for buying a place down here, and I'm going to fly down there and we're going to stay for 3 months and we're going to do this whole thing ourselves. I'm capable of painting my own walls, and,
That's until you've
really
done it. And then you're like me, you're laughing. You're like, stop, just pay for it.
Yeah. People want to have the adventure of, shipping container loads of goods to the islands. They do. And
the adventure
on
of it.
one level, I totally get that, because it does sound like a great adventure. It's like, have you read Don't Stop the Carnival?
Yeah, right. Adventure / headache. And
then once you have your adventure, when you do your next property, you might want to just pay us to do it.
Exactly.
I cringe because we do it every week, and I'm like, oh God, another one. Okay, yep, it's Thursday, another container.
Oh, that's funny. But I love that you did this. You identified it. See, because instead of fighting the tide, right? And I'm sure many people self-select themselves right up this ladder of services in the process. I just need 2 hours of your help. Oh, well, maybe all day. And how about the whole plan? All right, never mind. Here's the keys. I'll be back in 3 months, right?
Right. That's exactly what happens. Is first you just want to meet and talk about it. Great. No problem. There's 2 hours on Zoom, and, we can solve a lot of problems and answer a lot of questions about how to do things in 2 hours for sure. You will leave from that chat with a whole lot of clarity and ideas for sure. And that's easy, right?
Right.
That's an easy way to just dip your toe in the water. The other thing that we've done, for those who want to DIY is pre-made room plans. So if you are a person who says our bedroom needs a refresh this year before the rental season really gears up, for $54, there is a whole entire design plan for a lovely coastal looking bedroom that you can just download and have today and start shopping and buying.
So just finishes, in other words, art and blank, bedding and accessories. It's just like, hey, it's like a decoration in a box type of a thing.
It's a whole room in a PDF.
Right.
And yes. So if your room is completely empty, there's the bed and the nightstands and the lamps and the wall covering, and the drapery fabric is suggested, as well as is the rod and the bedding and the throw blanket and the pillows and the cute little seashell accents and picture frames you can put on the dresser. All of it is laid out there. And we did all the 3D renders and, all the tips for how to size your rug and all of the things.
Wow,
it's
that's a lot for $54.
That's
a lot for $54.
So I was hoping it was going to be good value.
Yeah, well, it is. I think you could charge 3 times that and it'd still be a good value. I'm just saying. I mean,
Well, and
like if I'm
then
coming to it, if I'm coming to it, right? First of all, the person who owns a
mhm,
second home in the Virgin Islands isn't on their last dime. They're not trying to make their mortgage. Let's be serious, okay? So if I am that lady who thinks it's going to be a grand adventure to do it all myself, if I look and I just think, okay, just the logistics of running around town and online and, all of that, but I can eliminate the actual head thinking of what size the rug should be, how many accessories there should be, what the accessory should look like. And even if I don't exactly get the exact same one, I know that over the dresser of picture frame of that size, I'm definitely saying a couple of $100. That's easy buy. Easy buy because my time is worth, by the time I figure that all out on my own, that's way more than an hour or two of my time.
yeah, it's guaranteed to match.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you can't tell online.
Right.
uh it just makes like, so the thing that people always want is, I need something durable that's not overly expensive and that is available for me to just click and purchase online today. We need to get this done,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're diving into that client, I was like, okay, this will help these people,
Mm-hmm. It
because
definitely.
so often they're like, well, okay, so we want you to redo these rooms for us. I'm like, okay, so my schedule is booked 3 months out. That's when we can start. And then we'll start the getting to know you process. And then we'll measure your room. And then, like, 5 months from now, you'll actually have furniture shipping. That does not work for them.
Right. Right. And that was pre COVID. Now it's, 5 months or 5 years. The furniture will start to ship.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So there's two things I want to pick apart a little bit is
Mhm.
this designer for a day and the master plan. And it's just a tiny bit. Like designer for a
Mhm.
day, how do you structure the parameters on it so that they understand the deliverable? Is it does that have a start and an end time? Does it happen on site? Is a combination at your office and their home? What are your parameters for designer for a day?
Okay. So it's 5 hours. And generally, I do it as 9 to 2. And partially because by 2 o'clock, I'm super hungry and need to go get something to eat.
Right.
Um, but also, nobody really wants to focus on that for more than 5 hours, let's be
Right.
honest.
Right.
Um, so I have done it on site with the client. I have also done it where I go to their house and they're in the States and we talk on FaceTime, and then I just sit there and measure stuff and do it. So it's somewhat flexible. It can either be, Zoom or in person or whatever combination fits the need. And the deliverables are notes from the day and recommendations by room. So it is a consulting only package. So if we do it on Zoom, we'll record the Zoom for them, of course. And
And
then,
so I'm sorry, go
we're
ahead. I
not
thought you were just
drawing plans really.
right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
So
So the question is is there a limit like in designer for a day I can only possibly evaluate and provide you deliverables on 2 rooms or 3 rooms or it's a whole house or how does that work?
the limit is basically time based. So when they sign up for it, they have to do this whole long questionnaire. And one of the most important questions on there is, like, list your goals for the day in order of importance.
Mm,
And so I encourage them to prioritize. And if it's, my living room is awful, we don't have enough seating, the whole thing looks like a bowling alley, help is number one. We might spend, 3 hours of the day working on that. And we'll sit there on the computer and I'll make you a list of, buy this rug. Here's the link for where we found that. Buy this sofa. Here's the link for where we found that. And that goes in their notes. And we might even, measure the room and draw out a little space plans that they have, a way to remember how we said, you're just going to stop pushing all your furniture against the walls. You're going
mm.
to bring this out, that kind of stuff.
So what I'm
But it's
hearing
not really, yeah.
Yeah, well, what I'm hearing is that you're not saying it's this only. You're saying that it's 5 hours and you're going to be the grown up and you're going to tell me your priorities. And once you list your priorities, you'll recognize that if I only get to two of them in 5 hours, that's what happened. And you're not going to complain that I didn't get to the other three. And if giving you the deliverable on your number one priority means that I've also given you a floor plan and some links for different things, then that's a good thing. But if somebody's priority was, I want a refresh or I want ideas for a refresh for 8 rooms, then you're not doing floor plans and things like that. Am I on the right track? Is that how you sort of you handle it? And then do you take care of that in the conversation before the purchase of this service?
Yes, absolutely. I will email them back if they say I need a refresh for 8 rooms, and I will probably say something like, that might be a little ambitious for our day. What would be the top three that you would want to start with? Let's start there and see how our time goes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So it's about the conversation ahead of time and making sure that expectations are met. And understood actually. And so when it's done on, say 80% of the designer for a day, you're going to follow up the next day, the next week with a list of all of your notes, like, get rid of the sofa, get this, add a bunk bed here, take that out, change the lighting in the hallway, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, my goal with those days is always by the time I leave my office to go home at 5 o'clock or whatever time it is, sometimes it's later than that for sure, but that I'm all done. I have no more homework. So I leave their place at 2 o'clock. I get a bite to eat. I come back to my desk. I download all of the things. And usually while I'm talking to them, we have the computer open, like I'm clicking and saving, clicking and saving. So I've got this whole long document going that really just needs cleaning up and organizing.
Okay. I love it.
Maybe throw in a couple paint colors, and now I can just hit send.
I love that you schedule your day that way because now it doesn't become this albatross hanging on your neck. Like you were there until 2, you went to have something to eat, and then you did a site measure for a different client, or you met a builder or a realtor. And now the next day it's like, I got to do that thing. I got to do that thing. It's like, this is the day. It's the whole day for that person and everything is done. And I end the day. So clutch. So clutch. I love that. Okay. And then on the master plan program that you have, master plan deliverable that you have, you are creating an actual deliverable binder, did you say, where you're saying, this is the rug, this is the sofa, here's the links, and you're giving them retail links for everything because there is no implementation, but you are actually giving them the complete details as opposed to a sofa at 86 inches would go in this location, which might be the deliverable on a designer for a day. Now we're taking it to the next level of detail.
Yes, yes. So master plan is the full whole on custom design done for them. It includes 3 drafts. So that's an original and 2 revisions. And that is how we limit that. It's not, we're going to, select an infinite number of lamps for this bedroom or something like that. But they get the real full project binder, both as a PDF in Dropbox and as a printed binder. If we're remodeling bathrooms or something, we've selected every faucet, every shower, everything, and we've put all the spec sheets in our little file binder for them. And then they get the spreadsheet, and we've set up the spreadsheet not just to list the item and where to buy, but we've set it up to get them started with their buying and their shipping process. So we've laid out all these columns where here's where you put the date that you purchased, and here's where you put your actual order number, and here's where you put your tracking information, because if they're going to be shipping things to the Virgin Islands by themselves, they're going to need all that information, and you can tell them at the beginning, but they don't fully realize it until it's time to ship
They
all their
can't find
stuff,
the tracking
and you
number or the
can't
invoice
clear
number.
customs because you don't have the original invoice, and your whole thing is held up because there's one invoice that customs is just not going to overlook for you today, because that's not how they roll around here. Yeah, and then they get the document. We have this really ridiculous 11-page document called How to Ship Anything to the Virgin Islands, so they get that to go with it. So, we've done everything we possibly can to set you up for success. You need this sofa in this colorway and this size and this arm style, and tell them delete the nail heads. And and here's where you plug in all your order information to help you be organized. And yeah, so it really does make it possible for the person who has the time and the inclination to do that for themselves, that they can, and they can be successful at it.
It's so well thought out. I mean, providing that spreadsheet is killer. That's killer right there. Because I could see telling me to do it, and I could see me being like, oh, I'm going to do it. And then I know I would not. I would be the one looking for the invoice. But if there's that spreadsheet, then, it just is that one further step of you sharing your knowledge from experience on best practice on how to organize this. So good for you. Now, question for you. If I take all this, I'm super happy and super excited, and I get, 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week into this, and I'm like, oh no, never mind, Tiffany. No. Can I upgrade to full service? Can I come back and say this, whatever my investment was in master plan goes towards full service, or how does that work? Because I could see that happening a lot.
Right. So the answer is maybe, and it's based on what else we've committed to
Okay.
in our studio, right? If I have a number of large commitments, and we're delivering a 10-bedroom house that needs full setup and art installation and drapery installation and all of the things at the same time that you want this done, then sadly the answer might have to be no, because it's better to tell you no now than to disappoint you later, because there's just a limit to how much a small business can and can't take on. But if there's time in the schedule, then sure, of course, we'll buy it all for them. There is a procurement fee. Nobody likes to talk about those these days. The whole world seems to be against procurement fees.
I'm all for it. Look, if you're
Well,
going to work for
it
somebody, you got to
takes
get money.
time.
That's it. Yeah. Stop. I'm not your mama. Right. So, but I
Right.
love this. I love that. And I also think that I can imagine me as the consumer, and you're telling me the different ladders of, value of services that you have. And if I already self-select myself in this master plan level, say me and the Vin man, we go back, we talk about it. I'm like, I think we should do full service. He's like, I think you could do master plan. I'm like, I think you're out of your mind, but okay, let's do master plan. If we come back to you and we talk about like, oh, we're going to do master plan. If you say to me right then, I'm just telling you from a sales standpoint, if you say to me right then, awesome, happy to do it, love it. I just want to let you know, in my experience, sometimes people will get involved in it and then ask me to upgrade them. And that answer will always be based on my timeline and my pipeline. So you might be able to get into it. You might not be able to get into it. So think carefully and hard. And this is especially if I have time in my pipeline for it, then I would do this takeaway sale with this, because I guarantee you 50% of us will talk the other part of our partnership into, I'm sorry, what are we doing this for? Right? Right now, if you don't have time in the pipeline, you keep your mouth shut and you sell your master plan and move on. Right? But you take that away from me right there, I'm going to fight for it. I'm going to want it. I'm just saying. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of people do. It kind of happens in the reverse for us more often than not, is that somebody wants full service and we say, I'm sorry, I just, I'm full until next year or whatever, but we could do a master plan for you, because
that works too.
They're like, okay, well, I'll take that. And I was like, and then we're going to give you all this information for how to do it. And if you have a competent property manager here, they can probably really handle a lot of this for you.
Love it. Love it. Love it. I
Um,
love the way you have, look, it shows the year that you spent with Tobi and her program. And of course, it shows the years of experience that you brought to your business prior to this new revelation of niching into the luxury vacation rentals. All of it is coming together so nicely because leaning into this and really taking that time to identify the actual, we say the words, what are our clients' pain points, a lot, but I don't know that we actually really focus on them. And it's clear that you have focused on them. And then when you add your years of experience, knowing that, hey, handing them a binder is not quite going to get them there, and I'm probably only going to get a lot of, yeah, but phone calls. Why don't I give them this 11-page document on how to ship to the Virgin Islands? Let me lay this spreadsheet out and show all the columns. I mean, you're really setting your clients up for success in the best way possible. And I can see and hear that it comes from your experience in doing the projects. It's really well thought out, Tiffany. Congratulations on that.
well, thanks. That's what we're trying to do. And as designers, when we do full service projects and we're working with contractors and project managers and all those sorts of professionals, we sit there and make our project book, and you look at it and you say, okay, what else are they going to ask me, right?
Mm-hmm.
How can I avoid driving to that job site one more time, to answer the question about what do you plan to do with this raw edge of tile,
Right,
right? It's
right,
got to be in the book.
right.
So it isn't any different. You just like, what are, sit down and just be like, what are they going to ask me next?
Right.
Because after doing this for this long, there are things that everybody asks every year. All the inquiry calls that you take, they've got some themes. And when you start writing down those themes, and then you start writing down, what do we sell on repeat all the time? What are the
Mm.
products we use the most? And ask yourself why. Like, it just leads to all of these things.
Mm. What I have to say to the observation that it keeps coming to my mind as you're talking is that many times our businesses are just barreling down the track, and we don't take the time to stop and do this self questioning that you have done, both about your ideal client, but then about these things, what you just mentioned. What are the questions that I get what am I going to get called back to the site to do? And the thing is about it is hard to stop the tracks and really say, okay, what are all the things that I need to know about a bathroom? Like, what is every nook and cranny that a mason, a plumber, whatever is going to ask me? But the thing is, doing it saves so much time on the back end. You're putting the time in on the front to make sure that you're turning something over, you're collecting your money for having done it, and it's complete. It's not a 16, follow-up phone call, email chain about nonsense. And that is the difference in when you really hire somebody who is a true professional to do what they do, is they have thought of 99% of the things. There's always going to be something that we're going to forget. That's okay. But thinking of 90% or 80% is not good. It's not good. It's not a good feeling for the consumer. And it's a pain in the neck for us as the professional chasing down the details, right?
It is. And the value for the client in paying us to do this is, they should be avoiding mistakes,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They're avoiding mistakes and they're getting a time shortcut. So the fee that we charge for that is kind of like the concept of buying back your own time in a way. But it's also, you're not paying for the fact that you bought a sofa that won't fit through the front door, and now you've had to give it away to the local Salvation Army and buy a second sofa,
Mm.
right?
Right.
While you had to cancel one of your rentals because there's no sofa in your home.
Right.
Right.
You just
One
don't head out to
episode
Target
of
for
that.
that.
Yeah, and then you add in, the cost of ocean freight for said replacement sofa, and you know what? You're at 50% of my design fee now.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah, save yourself the nightmare, and yeah, and let us help you with that.
Mm.
And from a business standpoint, having the other services has allowed us to help more people, which is, from a business standpoint, sell more service, and that's been good for business.
Right. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So good. So good. I appreciate your running through this. I appreciate your sharing how, like every other person that is niched down that we've spoken to, has expressed that trepidation about doing it. But the courage to do it, of course, with the help of Tobi, and congratulations on investing in yourself and your business and coaching. But the courage to do it and then to be on the other side of it and seeing it work is really exciting for you. Congratulations, Tiff.
Well, thanks. It's been an exciting journey the past couple of years, and yeah, and I would just really encourage any other designers listening to this to do that, because it just frees up your mind to in such amazing ways and helps you, grow your business in a very specific manner.
So good. So good. Thank you so much for joining me today, Tiffany.
Thank you. It's been great having this chat.
Once Tiffany niched down, she realized, just like every other one of your colleagues who have talked about it here before, that niching down did not limit her business, but in fact, it helped grow her business, right? The more she put it out there that she was doing luxury vacation rentals, the more people reached out to her for this very specific service. The next step after niching is to create that value ladder. After learning her consumers' pain points, Tiffany came up with different services that serve these consumers on a variety of levels. And I have to say, the layers of the services she offers is impressive. First, Tiffany offers a designer for a day package, 5-hour consulting only. It can be in person or Zoom, and you can pick her brain and get recommendations per room or whatever your priorities are that you might want to know about your vacation home. It's your 5 hours, she says. I love it. Next, Tiffany also offers a more detailed package called the Master Plan. Her clients get full custom design, 3 drafts, original and 2 revisions. They get a full project binder in PDF and Dropbox, okay? And my favorite part, get this, they get their own spreadsheet that helps them facilitate the buying and the shipping process. I love this detail. And it reminds me of Jessica Deuce, who specializes in vacation rental by owner rental home design, right? She also provides a page-by-page detail of items in the house in case they need replacement. And we will put the link for her episode in the show notes if that's of interest to you as well. Lastly, Tiffany has her DIYer plan. For $54, a client can purchase an entire design plan for any style room, and they can start shopping all themselves. All right. What I like here is that after picking apart her ideal client, putting herself in their shoes, understanding the challenges they have designing a home in another country, she literally created a solution for each potential situation that a client might come to her with, right? She developed a variety of services that allows her to help more people and sell more things in her business. Like Tiffany says, the value for the client is in paying us to do the things, to avoid the mistakes, and to save time by providing the shortcuts, right? We talk about solving our clients' pain points, but have you actually focused on them to the level that Tiffany has? All right. It's so clear that she's done this with the combination of her experience, investing in herself by working with Tobi, and having the courage to niche down. Everything has come together so nicely. Tiffany recently launched her ebook, Decorating and Designing Your Vacation Rental Property. We'll put the link for that also in the show notes. So, Tiffany, thank you so much for sharing your business and also the little trepidation that you had when niching down. The more niche success stories we hear, the more helpful I'm sure it is for each of you that have that little germ of an idea there that you think might be your niche and your superpower. Hopefully, each time you hear the success of one of your colleagues, it gives you a little more strength and a little more courage to explore it for yourself. All right? Thank you so much for joining me today. I totally appreciate that you show up. A reminder about the new podcast, Window Treatments for Profit. If you are interested in learning about the window treatment industry, I encourage you to go over there and check out those shows as well. All right. Thanks again. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of Luann Niagara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or Luann University, go to luannniagara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to windowworksnj.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.